Hi there, come on in. What do you do when you're fishing a northern lake, one with rocks around the shore? It's a very windy day and you're fishing for pike and walleye. Do you stay in the wind where it's less comfortable, or do you hide behind the islands and stay close to shore where you're out of the wind? Well, I used to stay out of the wind until Mark Martin showed me where the pike and walleye hang out on windy days. Believe it or not, those wind and wave-beaten shorelines, if they have the right structure, are where these fish can be found in close. This is the kind of morning you like to wake up to when you're fishing a northern lake in the summer. Mark Martin is a walleye fishing pro, literally. In 1990, he won the World Walleye Championship. Last July, we fished with him at Gunaseo Lake in northern Manitoba, a lake that's full of big walleye, but the guides didn't know where the big ones went after the end of June. Now, Mark found them on his flasher by locating sunken islands that were 15 or 16 feet down with deep water all around these sunken plateaus. That's where we caught walleye all day long when the weather was good. Back trolling was the main technique, but the second morning we got up to a blustery wind, and that's when Mark said we could catch fish within a few hundred yards of the lodge.
We have a rocky shoreline where the waves are coming in and beating on the shoreline, which picks up little particles and microorganisms, and that what in turn gets the minnows to come in here. But when the minnows come in, they get pretty disorientated about a lot of things as far as they're swimming, and they're easy prey for the predator fish that are around here. And like the rock here behind us, this flat rock, isn't as nearly as productive as the small boulders on each side, and especially this point right here with you have small boulders on is going to be more productive, say, than that point over there that has a smooth rock point, unless there's some broken rocks down there.
So you mean that's because the minnows get washed up in around those rocks, it's more turbulent?
Yeah, you have more turbulence, and you have more places for the minnows to hide around those small rocks. They have more habitat than, say, a flat, smooth surface where there's nothing for them to hide behind. And you know, there's more turbulent where there's smooth surfaces than.
So how close to those rocks do you fish?
Right on them. Right on them. You know, right now you're going to be, casting in within, you hit the rocks even, if you want to, but any place within 3 to 5 feet of them, you'll be able to take fish off of them. In most cases, they'll be somewhere right in that area.
When Mark pulled within casting distance to the shore, I made one cast, and that's all it took. I got one. I cannot believe this, Mark. My first cast up against the rocks.
I figured one of us would get one right in here.
Oh, he just got off. Doggone it. I can't believe that. Well, I'm going to take
See
one more
that point right there, a point of those rocks right there. That's a good little feeding station right there.
The wind and the rocks were the key. A fairly steep drop-off into 6 or 8 feet of water. It was amazing how close the fish were to the rocks. They'd strike within a few feet from shore.
Well, you could troll, but casting, you could cover each specific rock, because sometimes it'll be maybe just one rock on this whole shoreline, or 2 rocks that are really productive, as opposed to the whole shoreline. You're not going to have. They're not going to be stacked up all along here. There's going to be a certain rocks and certain features down here that we're going to find out about and where these fish are, and that they're always going to be there. You can come back an hour from now, maybe catch another one. You can come back a week from now and catch another one. It's always going to be a spot where you can catch a fish.
But you're not talking if it was calm right now.
When
the water was flat.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work?
No, it wouldn't be as good, no. Walleye. Oh. Hey, there's walleye up here. This rocky shoreline was the last place we fished the night before. We tried many lures, but caught nothing. The owner, Jim Budd, said that few people ever fished this close to the boat dock, and fewer people caught anything when they did. Yeah, this is going to be some good fishing for this lake right here. There's Fred's got one now.
Yep. Oh, this is uncanny. I can't even believe this, Mark.
Amazing, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I would have never stopped to fish this on a day like this.
You got a walleye there too, don't you, Fred?
I got a
See,
walleye.
the walleyes will inhabit maybe a little different area than the northerns, and they won't intermix either very often.
There we go. And with this barbless hook, comes right out. This windy shoreline fishing isn't a trophy walleye technique, but you can catch eaters on lures like an Erie Deary and Nightcrawler, jig with a twister tail. They work well off the rocks. We also caught them on big-lipped crankbaits that dive deep. The key is having a windy day, a rocky shoreline that has small boulders and creates a lot of pockets and splash from the wind. Anchor or drift offshore and cast right into those rocks. It amazed me, but it's one way to catch walleye in the wind. There are many different patterns and lessons we can learn about fishing or hunting, and weather conditions are one that are important to key in on. And the success of fishing different weather conditions depends, though, on the species of fish you're going after. Their habits are different. It varies with the time of year, too. Just because a technique works one month, it doesn't mean it'll work in another. Fish aren't always in that part of the lake due to water temperature or maybe spawning behavior. Also, the types of food that fish eat can change from month to month depending on what's available, so your baits or lures have to change to match it. If you find particularly good success for a certain species at a certain time of year, under certain weather conditions, in a certain place with a certain bait, duplicate those the following year. In all likelihood, they'll work again. But if you're off on the patterns, it might not work at all. For example,